everybody. So something I really want to talk about and I feel very, very passionate about is fear. I get a lot of followers on social media platforms saying to me that they've had a fall or had an accident and it's taken away their confidence and they're scared to get back on. So I'm doing this video basically for everybody that's been through that sort of thing because I want to share some of my experiences of it. Now, before I knew that I had EDS, I was obviously regularly getting injured with no explanation as to why. Now, one of these injuries, not long after I had given birth to my youngest son, involved several dislocations, some breaks, which was quite unusual for me. It's actually the first time I ever broke any bones in my body, and a lot of soft tissue damage as well, where things were wrenched around. Now, this probably wouldn't have happened if I hadn't recently given birth to my son. And the hormones that you produce during pregnancy and childbirth obviously allow your joints to get more lax. Now, when you've already got lax joints that like to stretch out of place, this is a recipe for disaster. But not knowing I had EDS, I didn't realise the extra risks that I was putting in place. So I had a fairly minor fall, which to anyone else would have probably bounced and rolled, got back on our horses and tried again. I actually ended up in a very big crumpled heap and I ended up with most of the top half of my body in plaster. There are videos floating around on the internet and photos of that if you really want to see it. Now, when I went to get back on my horse, and obviously it was after a very long period of sort of 6 weeks before I was actually out of plaster, still very, very sore, still very, very swollen. And that's 6 weeks where I hadn't been able to just get back in the saddle like most people would tell you to. So that's 6 weeks of my head building up my fear. Now, my horses were my passion. I said that I would have trusted my mare with my life. It was not her fault that we fell. I set her up appallingly for a jump. She said no. I said, no, come on, we can do this. I should have listened to her. I set her up badly. We both fell. Now, I already knew what I'd done wrong. I'd gone over it in my head. We'd never had anything like this happen before. I was petrified and it took me a long, long time to get over that fear. But what I learnt was, one, take it at your own pace. Now, part of me was desperate to get back on board. I missed riding so much. And my physio, my doctors are saying, not yet, not yet, not yet. You need more time to recover, more time to heal. Anyone ever known a horse rider go, okay, doc, no, we go and get on our horses? So I did get back on. I had my husband at the time was holding her. I was shaking. I put every possible safety aspect into place that I could, and I was shaking. I was so scared. But my first time that I was getting back on board, I had one aim: to get back on board. As it happened, I got back on board. I took a few steps with my husband holding her, and I was scared. I thought, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I had ridden for 20 years at this point, and I'd never ever been and felt this fear. And part of me was saying, get out of it, come on. You know, and the other half of me was going, I don't want to fall again. I don't want to be back in hospital again. I don't want to go through that again. And you kind of wakes you up that you can fall. And that actually riding is a dangerous sport. But I was really shocked at how quickly I went from being physically shaking with fear to going, let's put a jump up. I was like, oh, so hang on. I've managed to walk around the arena. I'll just try a little trot. Oh, we've managed to trot. Oh, maybe I'll just trot over a little cross pole. Oh my God, we've done it. And each time I got on her, I pushed myself a little bit more, but I was surprising myself as well. And eventually, before I knew it, and this is in the matter of a week, we were back out cantering across the fields that she would get in. And being the sort of warm-blooded type of horse she was jumping around like a stag, going, Canterfield, Canterfield, Canterfield. And the fear had gone. And in fact, really, really funny story. I was still going through physio at this point, and I dislocated my elbow so badly. I'd also done a break in the joint, and where it had healed with my elbow stuck at 90-degree angle. And no matter what the physios could do, I couldn't move my elbow further than there. I couldn't get it out straight, and I couldn't get it up there. And we were walking across this field, and she tripped. And as she tripped, she yanked the reins out of my arm. I heard absolutely really loud crack. One straight elbow. Well, as straight as an EDS elbow gets anyway. I can touch my shoulder, I can straighten my elbow. I went to physio the next week, and she said, "Oh, you've finally been doing your exercises." Yeah. Yes, it was the physio exercises. Now, the most important thing to remember, and this is so, so important for you young riders out there, is that I get a lot of people on my social media saying that I'm an inspiration to them. I'm just a normal rider. I'm just a normal human being who's working 2 jobs to try and afford my passion. Okay? Yeah, I feel fear too. Things go wrong and I lose my confidence, but I get it back. But what I really want you to focus on is think about those real top riders. Be inspired by them. Be inspired by the Mary Kings, the Mark Todds, the John Whitakers. I'm showing my age right now. Be inspired by them, because multiple times within their career, within their ridden time, they will have lost their confidence. They will have had bad fall. And don't think, oh yes, but they're falling from a 4-foot jump. They've not always jumped that big. Once upon a time, they were learning how to do rising trot. That's weird. Can you think of Mary King learning to do rising trot? Okay? And so at some point in their equestrian career, they have lost their confidence, and they have not let it stop them. They have found how it suits them to get through it. And they have not let that fear own them. Instead, they have taken that fear by the balls like a colt being gelded, and they have owned it. They have not let it stop them. They have not let it take their passion away. Because that's your choice. You let fear come along and take away your passion, or you kick it to the curbside, chuck it on the muck heap, and let the dogs eat it.